Visit TCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit TCG Castle for more.
Looking to grade your Pokemon cards and you don't know how to do it? Check out Ludkins Collectables and grade your Pokemon cards with zero risk. Check video description or visit LudkinsCollectables.com for more.
Hey, how's it going, Pokefans? Welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In this video, we'll be looking at updated version of the deck that I really like in this current standard format, but I also like it in the last standard format. It's the Zoroark featuring Garbodor. So very unique deck list that you're probably gonna find on the internet. So there's probably gonna be a tons of Zoroark GX decks, but I'm not sure if you're gonna find a regular Zoroark version with the Garbodor. What is really special about this deck? So first of all, I'm gonna like to say that most of the time when I play at my local tournament, I really try to counter the meta, and there's just specific types of the decks that my opponents used. So they basically used Buzzwole decks, they basically used Zoroark version of the decks, and for example other heavy GX decks. So yeah, basically if they don't play smart enough, sometimes they can be easily catched and countered by this type of the deck. So it's a very interesting deck list. So for example, our main attacker, of course, in the mid to late game is going to be Garbodor with the Trash Lens, because we're going to be able to, hit for 20 for each item card in our opponent discard pile, which is just insane. Of course, against Gardevoir GX, that will not work, because Gardevoir players will have that Gardevoir GX attack that will allows them to shuffle back 10 item cards, for example, from discard pile back to game. So yeah, Trash Lens not gonna work. But for example, we're gonna have that Mind Jack. So at least with the Mind Jack and with the Mind Jack combination and Breakthrough, we might be able somehow, to one-hit knock out that Gardevoir deck. But of course, Gardevoir GX is gonna be very hard matchup for us. But there is a multiple different ways and options how we can actually counter them. But it's not gonna be definitely easy to play against them. Also, Zoroark GX is going to be very powerful. It's going to be very strong and smart deck to play with it. And yeah, it's not going to be easy. But again, it all depends on the... it all depends on the Trash Lens and how many item cards we're going to find in those discard piles in the mid to late game. And in the early game, we can apply some pressure with the Zoroark. Also, Zoroark GX can help us... Oh, I just accidentally deleted. Also, Zoroark GX can help us somehow to, use that GX attack and basically, or Fall Play attack to counter our opponent active Pokemon attack pretty easily. Also, heavy attacker on this deck list is going to be Drampa GX with the Berserk, so technically it can strike for 180. Again, if we can spread with the Breakthrough damage counters 30-30, then we can probably pull 2 prize cards with Berserk hitting for 210 in total. If we're gonna count the number of Berserk Choice Band plus Breakthrough from the turn before, for example. But I also like the fact that this deck contains a Hoopa with that powerful ability that can simply prevent EXs or GXs from being able to deal any damage counter. So yeah, sometimes this Hoopa can also buy us some time. Against Buzzwole, for example, Hoopa plus Mr. Mime is just completely nightmare for any Buzzwole player, because they're gonna have hard time hitting on the bench and doing something, especially in the early game where they're gonna just try to set up. But yeah, with a Lycanroc, they're gonna be in a very bad position. But for example, some Buzzwole players will have that Garbodor with the Garbotoxin, so it's a 50-50. But still, it's a very interesting deck to play with it, trust me. So yeah, I'm talking too much. Let's just take a look at the deck list. So there's a Drampa GX ×1, also Rangru. Sometimes we're gonna need to use that Instruct, and sometimes we're just not gonna focus on the Garbotoxin. There is also 1 copy of the Hoopa with that powerful ability. 2 copies of Zoruas and 2 Zoroarks with the stand-in the Mind Jack, as well as 1 Zoroark with the Fall Play. There's also 1 copy of the Mr. Mime with the Bench Barrier, a Latios with the Breakthrough, 2 copies of Tapu Lele GX, and of course 4 copies of Trubbish with the Acid Spray. I really like it because it's pretty good. I mean, with the Choice Band you can hit Puzzle for 80 and discard energy, which is just insane. Plus with Enhanced Hammer you can knock 2 energies in 1 turn. That's madness. A 1 copy of Trash Lunge Garbodor and Garbodor with the Garbotoxin. Moving on to the item cards, of course, I decided to find a space to take 2 copies of Enhanced Hammer, as well as 2 copies of the Field Blower. As many Field Blowers we can use, as many item cards we can discard, that many damage counters times 20 Garbodor with a Trash Lunge will be able to output. This deck list also contained 2 multi-switches. I feel comfortable playing multi-switches. Many times I used to play multi-switch. It's a very surprise card, which can just perform such an easy knockout from nowhere. So yeah, I really like the multi-switch play. It's my original trademark since the beginning of the Burning Shadows set. I used to play multi-switch a lot. Also, Rescue Stretcher ×1. Sometimes I just find myself in a position where second Rescue Stretcher would be very welcome, but yeah, I just prefer to run better 2 special charges over it, because with the special charge, you know, I can just shuffle 2 in any combination of special energies from my discard pile back into my deck. This deck is going to be very vulnerable to Enhanced Hammers, unfortunately, but this deck does not need to attach more than 1 energy per turn. But that's the reason why I'm running 2 special charges. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, and of course 1 copy of the Pearl City. The main focus for the Pearl City is here to, you know, get rid of those Tapu Leles, for example, from the bench, so we can still trade a price for 2 price cards. And then supporter cards, I decided to go with 1 Bridget, 3 copies of Cynthia, as well as 3 copies of N. Actually, 2 copies of N and 3 copies of Professor Sycamore, speaking about draw support, and 3 copies of Guzman. Also on this deck list. So moving on to the item cards, speaking about tool cards, I'm running 3 Choice Bands and 3 Floatstones. The reason for 3 Choice Bands and Floatstone, of course, 3 Choice Bands for as many damage counters as we can increase with our attackers. And of course, Floatstone for that Garbotoxin, and 8 energies in total, 4 double course energies and 4 regular rainbow energy cards. So technically with the Mind Jack and 5 Pokemon on our opponent bench, we can strike for 160. With a Choice Band, we can go up to 190. And if we manage to deal some damage counters with the Breakthrough from turn before, for example, then we can have in total 220. Still, it's not going to be enough for 1-hit knockout against something like, let's say, who could it be? Garbodor, because he even have -4 resistance to the Darkness Pokemons, but it will be enough for the 1-hit knockout, for example, against Buzzwole, against Volcanion, even with a Fighting Fury Belt, against something like Tapu Lele, of course, against Golisopod, Zoroark GX, and many other popular cards in the standard format. So overall, I like this deck list, and I just like to play with it. I hope you guys liked it, so make sure to hit the thumbs up. And of course, if you're looking to buy maybe any of these cards, you can check tcgcastle.com. Link is provided with my video description, so make sure to check that, as well as the Ludkins Collectible if you may be looking for it to buy, or maybe send your cards to the PSA submission. Those guys provide the best service, that's for sure. So let's move on to the deck test so you can actually see how this deck will perform in action, so see you in the game. Okay, so I'm gonna start first in this game, and looks like how this is gonna be, I should say, a perfect opening hand. So there's a Hoopa, there's a Bridget, and there's 2 different energies that can be used. So with the Bridget, of course, I'm gonna grab myself 2 copies of Trubbish and 1 copy of Mr. Mime, so I can put him on the bench. More than that, it's obvious I'm gonna attach my double course energy to the Hoopa in the active position. I'm gonna pass the turn. Next turn, I can use my Super Psy Bolt, and I can strike my opponent Buzzwole. Buzzwole is in a very bad position right there because I also have my Mr. Mime available on the bench, so he definitely needs to find himself a way to grab himself somehow a Guzma with the Tapu Lele maybe. Or he can respond with benching down Trubbish as well. and playing Sycamore for 7. So if my opponent can find that Garbodor with the Garbotoxin, then he can definitely benefit from it. So far, things looking pretty well for me. I'm not gonna say anything against that. So let's just go with that Rainbow Energy attachment, and that's gonna be one Sycamore for 7. If I can hit an Enhanced Hammer, this is gonna be pretty good. But looks like I'm not gonna be able, at least not for now, to find one. But I still have that extra Ultra Ball available, and I can discard that Trubbish, and I can discard that Sycamore from my hand. So I can grab myself, let it be one Zorua in this case. So if my opponent feels he can expand the bench, that's pretty fine. I'm gonna try to instruct for 1 and see how lucky I'm gonna be. And as a top deck, okay, it's not that bad. So let's go with the Super Psy Bolt. It's gonna be 110 damage counters dealt to my opponent Boswell. So he still needs to find a way to knock out my Hoopa with a single shot. He needs to deal 110 damage counters. It's not gonna be that easy. Not at all. So there are 3 tool cards attached, and there's a Garbodor. So right now he can actually play a strong energy from his hand and hit me for like 100. So he's still gonna need that choice band. A Pearl City. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So I'm gonna discard Mr. Mime, and I'm gonna discard. I'm gonna go with the Zorua. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go with Zorua. He have only 2 item cards so far in play. Oh, look at this. 2 more Pokemons on the bench and Fighting Energy, which means that 30 damage counters is probably gonna be dealt to my Trubbish. But that's just not a big deal. Next turn, I can knock out his Boswell. I can grab myself 2 prize cards, which is amazing. And I can also recover some of the discarded Pokemons back with my Rescue Stretcher. So I'm going to recover Zoroark Break, Mr. Mime, and I'm also going to go for that Zorua, since I already have enough Trubbishes in play. And then I'm going to play my M. So if I can hit an Enhanced Hammer, this is going to be very devastating for my opponent. But looks like that's just, that's just not going to happen. So since that's not going to happen, I'm going to put another Garbodor as well in play. And I'm just going to strike my opponent for the knockout. So there we go. I mean, the opening hand was pretty good, and I managed to buy myself a couple turns. And finally there's an Enhanced Hammer, which is going to be very useful next turn against my opponent. Of course, he decided to promote Zygarde. Zygarde is very powerful in this matchup because he don't have weakness of the Psychic, so he can use at least some sort of advantage. And right there, he can knock me out with a single shot. I need to find a way somehow to remove the Pearl City, so I can bench down another Zorua and possibly Mr. Mime to prevent damage counters dealt to my bench. Again, Field Blower is something that I need pretty badly. The good thing is that I have Enhanced Hammer available, so it's going to go from his Zygarde in the active position. And after that, I'm going to play that Cynthia for the fresh hand of 6 new cards. And again, what is going on right there? Right now, this just definitely looks bad. It really looks bad because I can't find the cards that can actually help me. I didn't even find the energy card, which is very bad, and it's very sadly. But he can just strike, for like a 40. Next turn for 80, but so he's gonna go for my Oranguru on the bench. Alright, so again, it's not gonna be enough for the knockout. But for example, with his Boswell, it will be enough for the knockout. But he still decided to just promote, Zygarde in the front. He's very scared about being knocked out. So 80 from the weakness. And somehow I managed to escape from not being knocked out this turn. But maybe he decided to knock me out next turn with his Boswell. I'm still gonna do something like this. This is gonna be one Ultra Ball for my Zoroark. So I can, at least put him in play. Unfortunately, I cannot Mind Jack. I cannot do nothing. least not for now. Yeah, Latios is gonna be good. I mean, with the breakthrough, technically, I can perform a one-hit knockout, but it's still a long way to go. There's another energy card on his Zygarde as well. And right now, this is just very, very bad. I need to hope for the best as the top deck, so something like any draw supporter could be very nice. Well, speaking about top deck, I just managed to find one very interesting top deck, which is a Cynthia. Still, I'm gonna put Mr. Mime on the bench. And there is an Enhanced Hammer, so I can knock that strong energy from his bench. And for how much I can strike? For only 2 energies. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna... Or maybe I should pretend like I don't have nothing, but maybe then he just, you know, surprised me. So, it's a very interesting decision to do. To go with the Trash Lens right now and pretend like I don't have double cores energy or just to strike him with the Zoroark. I'm gonna definitely go with the Zoroark just in case of the Guzma play. So I don't want to take a risk. It's not gonna be enough for the knockout, unfortunately. I'm gonna be short for like a choice band, but it's still okay. If there was a choice band, then that would probably be a GG, but since there was no sign of the choice band, what my opponent can do here, he can potentially grab himself maybe another carving break. Alright, so this board looks very well right now and very powerful. Right now I'm counting 4 item cards in my opponent discard pile, so that's 80 damage counters times 2. That's 160 speaking about Boswell, which means only one choice band will give me the opportunity to clear my opponent very easily. I should definitely say that a couple of those enhanced hammers may definitely impact in the early game and also in the mid game right now, as well as the Hoopa in the opening stage of the game. So he decided to go with the Cellstorm, which is going to be 120. Still, he's going to be able to heal 3 damage counters. And I'm thinking about benching down my Latios, putting the energy onto my Garbodor, and simply ending my opponent down to 3. I'm going down to 4. Again, this hand looks very bad, but I'm not gonna complain because I have 2 Garbodors in play, and that should be the GG. So Trash Lens will do the job. It will hit for 80. And if there was a Fighting Fury belt, I wouldn't have enough for the knockout, which would be such a shame. But he decided right now to promote his Carving Break. So if he hits me this turn with the Carving Break, and then the game is definitely over because I have Guzma available, and that's gonna be it. So he needs to somehow find a way to bypass my Garbodor here. And what is the last card? It's a Professor Sycamore. If that Sycamore was N, I think I would probably lose this game. So there we go. Absorption GX. It's enough for the knockout. It's 130. But all I really need right now is just, you know, it's just a energy card. But the question is, can I find energy that I need? And I need that rainbow energy. I'm earning only 4 of them. And the next top deck card was rainbow energy, and I'm still not sure if I have enough for the knockout. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seriously, there's only 5 item cards in my opponent discard pile, but it really doesn't matter too much because I still have the answer to that. Let me see. Alright, so what I'm gonna do in this particular case, I'm gonna refresh my deck with 2 double cores energies in case of the end, you know. Right now I'm gonna hit with the Trash Lens for 200. And next turn I just need to use my Breakthrough and snipe my opponent Boswell on the bench for the 30 damage counters, and then I can pull 2 prize cards. So that's still win condition for me. But it's definitely not going to be a win condition if my opponent will somehow pull a crazy move like S-Roll or Max Potion. I would probably laugh on that. But yeah, you know, sometimes I feel that Boswell GX actually needs that extra heal card like S-Roll or Max Potion. And there's the Cynthia, so we're not going to see S-Roll for sure, but who knows, we might see Max Potion, for example. If not, then the game's definitely over. So there we go with the Knuckle Impact, and that's it. That's the 170, that's enough for the knockout. And I have 2 different options available to knock out my opponent, Boswell. I'm just going to say well play, because it was definitely GG. It was definitely a great game. But yeah, Breakthrough will do the job. It will actually knock out my opponent, Boswell, and spread 3 damage counters also on the bench. Even if he was able to retreat, I would still have enough for the knockout on the bench with my Latios in this certain situation. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting matchup where at the end, this deck managed to win against my opponent, Boswell GX deck with the Garbodor. So yeah, without Garbodor, I don't know how would he stand a chance against Hoopa without Guzma. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Let me know in the comments below also what you think about this deck. So yeah, have a nice day until the next time. We'll definitely see you in the next video.